The Knicks handled the 76ers last night, but no time to celebrate Mitch Robinson's birthday or the win because they're back on the court tonight against the Cavs. So let's talk some back-to-back Knicks basketball with Alex Trataros of Knicks Fan TV. Alex, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Brandon? Happy to see your face within a short time, man. It feels like just yesterday I saw you. How you
Yeah,
doing?
loving these morning chats, man. These morning Knicks chats. So let's get straight into this thing, man. Let's not focus too much on the 76ers, who we don't need to talk about them that much. But we can show some love to the birthday boy, Mitch Robinson, 14 and 14 on the night. But I think the biggest thing, Alex, that stood out to me was the 7 offensive rebounds with Cat out day to day with knee soreness. Will you feel like that's the night that Knicks fans and Tibbs needed to see from Mitch, especially with the playoffs right around the corner?
Absolutely. I mean, I know some people are going to say, hey, it's only the 76ers. Should we really be that impressed? But in all honesty, the way I'm not even looking at the numbers in particular when it comes to Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, the double double, the 14 and 14 is just fantastic, especially against a Sixers team who's downright out of it, right? No Joel Embiid, no PG-13, no Maxey. That team is just awful. Shout out to Quentin Grimes though. But the thing that I take away is just the mobility, the fluidness of Mitchell Robinson right now. He looks in the best shape. He looks more confident. He looks more polished than he's ever been as a New York Knick. Yeah, we can go back to his rookie season and see how he's had 8 blocks in one game and just, the athleticism, the quick twitch muscles that, were through the roof back then. But when you watch Mitchell Robinson now, you can see that he's more confident, more stable in his game. He's still being that paint presence that you want out of him. And then, I mean, just from when we saw him against Memphis, Brandon, he's getting entry passes. He's working the low post area. I mean, we haven't seen like a full array of offense from him in that category, but I just like the confidence and that the team is willing to give him the ball in the post. Him boxing out, him doing just like the small technical things that we've been asking of him over the years, and he's just getting more confident. I'll tell you this though, if he did get that putback off that self putback off the glass, I know MSG's roof would have gone to the stratosphere.
Yeah, and Mitch Robinson, fan favorite, fans love him. Knicks Fan TV, you guys show him love, he shows you loves back. So it was great to see him kind of ball out and let him have his night. I got to throw in OG dropped 27, Landry Shamet with a 20 on the night. So the fact that they were able to, I guess, put a night like that together again against the 76ers. They got the Cavs tonight on the back end of the back-to-back. No Brunson again, and I imagine maybe Cat plays for this one. But is this a game you'd say the Knicks need to win from a momentum and confidence standpoint, not only for the team, but for individual players as well?
I don't say they need to win tonight. And to even add to the injury, I wonder if Mitchell Robinson plays tonight as well, just because they haven't really been utilizing him, they haven't really utilized him on the second night of a back-to-back. So maybe it was like, hey, let's rest Cat because he's dealing with some soreness on the first leg of a back-to-back, and then we'll give Mitch the next night off. So we may not have Mitch, but you talk about not having Mitchell Robinson, Jalen Brunson, no Deuce McBride, no campaign, right? If those guys aren't playing tonight, I'm not expecting a win just because I know the Cavs are a little bit more healthy. They have their starters, but what you do want to see is it just be competitive at this point. You want to see that the roster that you've assembled, even without Jalen Brunson, that they're more than capable of hanging with a top tier Cavaliers team. And we haven't really seen that since the first matchup this season where this Knicks team, granted, it was their first time playing together and they were still trying to figure out how to gel way back at the beginning of the season. That second game was nowhere near close to a matchup, all right? I mean, the Cavs shot over 50% from downtown in that second matchup. So you just want to see this team be able to defend at a high level, make sure that the Cavs don't get on a hot scoring spree like they're capable of doing. And look, they're also a good team that likes to get downhill, get into the paint. So karl-Anthony Towns, if he plays tonight, you want to see that he's capable of just hanging with Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley from a defensive standpoint. So do they really need to win? No, I know it's a long-winded way of saying no, they don't need to win. Obviously, the win would be great. You add another notch to saying, hey, this is just a fantastic season. It would certainly boost the confidence going into the postseason, saying that we can hang with the top teams, considering that they haven't beaten the Cavs. the Celtics or the Thunder, but they don't need to win based on the injuries that they're dealing with. They just got to keep it
I know
close.
what you're saying. Like, because of availability and circumstances, there can be some W's within an L if they were to take the loss. But it'd be a huge one if they are able to pull that off. So after they play the Cavs, 6 games left in the season, SNY's Ian Begley reported that Jalen Brunson might be back as soon as this weekend. If you're Tibbs, do you need to get Brunson back for at least a couple games before the playoffs? Or do you just sit and rest him and make sure he's 100% healthy before they go on that run?
Shout out to Ian Begley, man, but also shout out to CP because last night on post game, he also noted that it seems like it's more like Sunday that Jalen Brunson will return. That's what he's hearing from his sources.
Okay.
And look, you do need to get Brunson back. Okay. You do need to get Brunson back. You want to make sure that he's in a rhythm prior to the postseason. You just don't want this guy to come in cold, off an injury, the first matchup, even if it's the Milwaukee Bucks, who the Knicks have waxed this entire season. Like, you just don't want to take that chance where, in a 7-game series, now you're trying to play from behind with, your best player out there because, look, he needs to just get into a rhythm, obviously, but you don't want him to start trying to get into a rhythm during the most critical part of the season and start taking away from guys. You want to make sure that he can blend with guys like karl-Anthony Towns and especially OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, who seem to find new life since he's been out, especially OG. You know, I don't want that. I don't want the flow of this team to be disrupted just because we're trying to get Brunson back into rhythm in the postseason. So I think it's critical that you get him back this weekend just so that way he can get into a flow. And then you have that little break during the play-in, and that way he gets enough reps just so that this team can start gelling and humming at the most critical time of the season, which is the postseason.
All right, talk about that postseason real quick before I let you go. Would you rather the Knicks play the Bucks or the Pistons in the first round?
Give me anybody, Brandon. We ain't dodging no smoke
We
around,
don't
but
dodge smoke around here.
this is New York, baby. We don't dodge no smoke. But look, is there a preference? Sure. I mean, let's give me the Bucks just because we've beaten them. Look, I know Detroit has defeated us in Madison Square Garden. They've beaten us twice this season. We got one more matchup with them this season, but either two teams, the Bucks, they're dealing with their own injury. You don't know if Damian Lillard will return. He's dealing with he's got blood clot issues right now. Like I said last week, shout out to Dame. Hopefully he's able to return. Hopefully he's healthy and fine. But look, if you're not going to have Dame in the postseason, it's just going to be Giannis. Yes, Giannis being one of the best players in the NBA. I'm going to take a healthier Knicks team than a Bucks team that has struggled to find some rhythm this season. And then if it's the Detroit Pistons, yeah, they're very tough. They're gritty. I think from a physicality standpoint, they'd give the Knicks some trouble, but they don't have the experience. They don't have the experience as you have in Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Bridges, karl-Anthony Towns, even OG Anunoby. That starting five has playoff scars. They've been there. OG been part of a championship team, even though he wasn't playing in that postseason. He's there. Cat was just in the Western Conference Finals last year. All right. How about that Game 7 against the Denver Nuggets where he was critical, in keeping the Timberwolves' hopes alive? Brunson, we already know what he's done here and what he did in Dallas. Josh Hart, we've seen it the last 2 seasons here as a Knick. And then Mikal Bridges was also in an NBA Finals with that Phoenix Suns team. So these guys understand what it takes to make that postseason run and to be in shape and to be disciplined. I just want to see it against the Cavs. And so even against the Bucks, man, with their injuries, I think this Knicks team is ready for either team, man. We ain't dodging no smoke around here.
Zero smoke, no dodging, none of that. Hey, I can't believe the playoffs right around the corner, though. It's crazy how time flies. Alex, thanks for hopping on with us, my man.